Hey everybody, so this is going to be a COVID-19 personal impact message to all of you. The reason I'm making this video is because COVID-19 has affected my family, and because the vaccine is starting to finally come out, and it's, we're coming to the close of the year, I felt like right now was the best time to put this out there. So here's my story. My grandfather was the very first male victim to die from the coronavirus in the county that I'm from. There was a woman that had died previously. She was the first victim and the first female victim. My grandfather died, I believe, the day after she did. He was in his 70s, I believe. I could be wrong about that, but and he did have underlying health conditions. My grandfather was a smoker for many, many years, and he had stopped smoking maybe 20 years ago, somewhere around there, and so did my grandmother. And so it was really important for him at that time because he wanted to be around. They wanted to be around to watch me and my cousin grow up and have families. And my grandfather ended up being diagnosed with lung disease, COPD, which basically he had just recently been diagnosed with stage 4, which basically means that you're at the last and final stage of lung disease. The 5th stage is death. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean when you get diagnosed with stage 4 that, that's it. Your life's over. It just basically means that, hey, you're at the final stage of this. There's no more treatments that can be done for you. This is it. It's going to eventually take your life. Now, you could live 10 more years with it and be perfectly healthy and fine other than having a lung problem and then possibly die. So it's not a death sentence. It doesn't mean that you're going to die within 2-3 months. It just basically means, hey, you're at the last final stage of this. There's no more treatments left for us to use. So we're going to do what we can to keep you alive, but this is pretty much everything that we can do for you. So when he was diagnosed with COVID, he already had the lung disease, so COVID made it even more difficult for him. Shortly after being in the hospital, he developed pneumonia. And with all 3 things going on all at once, it was just too much for him to keep taking on. And so he, at one point, finally just told the nurse, he said, that's it, I'm done. Please just shut everything off. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired of fighting. I want to go to heaven. I'm done fighting. And so he made that selfless decision so other people could, use the equipment that he was using at that time to help save their lives. He gave himself the ultimate sacrifice. And I was upset with his decision at first, but then I got to a point to where I was like, you know what? He was suffering, he was in pain, he was struggling for every single breath that he was taking, and he knew that he wasn't going to get better, and he knew that if he did leave the hospital, he could have life-changing effects, and he didn't want to live like that. So I totally support his decision. And when he died, he became the second patient in my county to die from from this disease, virus, whatever you want to call it. And he also became the first male patient in the county to die from it. So this virus has a special place for me personally, because it took away somebody who I loved very, very much. He ended up dying in March of 2020. And, the last one of the other reasons why I wanted to make this is because one of the last times I ever saw him in person or talked to him or got to give him a hug or anything was last Christmas, on Christmas Day. I walked out the door, and as I walked out the door, we gave each other hugs. We said I love yous, and we closed the door behind us, and we went about the rest of our lives. And had I known that was going to be the last time I would ever see him, I probably would have stayed just a little bit longer or had more conversation about important things. But, you know, sorry, I'm getting a little emotional here. One of the last conversations I had with him was a story about him and how my grandmother got to become a couple. And we talked about old cars that they used to have. We talked about when my own father was killed. We talked about how that day ran out and how they found out, and we talked about things that I wish I would have had more deeper conversations with him about. And that's another reason why I'm making this video is if you have a loved one, no matter what they're dying from, or even if they're not dying, man, tell them how much they mean to you. Spend more time with them, especially if they're elderly. I wasn't ready to lose my grandfather, but I did. And it sucks ass. But there's nothing I can do about it except for stay healthy. Another thing that I want to say is I have made the choice to not be vaccinated. And I know a lot of people are probably going to say, well, then you're stupid, you're this, you're that. Hear me out. The reason I'm saying that is because it's not because I don't care, and it's not because I don't want to have anything to do with it. It's because it was made so fast that I have concerns. Legitimate concerns. You know, if you're one of those people that are questioning whether you should get it or not, if you don't have concerns, go for it, do it, help save a life. If you live with elderly people, do it. Do what makes you happy and what you think is best for you and your family. Don't just listen to the public. Don't take other people's opinions. Do what you think is right. Do what you think is best for you and your family. Don't be pressured into this. The reality of it is my grandfather knew that his time was limited. And he knew that his time was ending soon. So we decided to end it sooner. And I miss him terribly. But I know that he's watching down on me. So please, people, take this damn thing seriously. I don't like wearing the mask. I hate the fucking mask. But I wear it. Because I don't want to get somebody else sick. And I don't want somebody getting me sick. I think that I already had it last December, to be honest with you. But if I didn't, I don't want to have it. But I also realize that I work with hundreds of people every single day. And the reality of me getting it because I work in a public environment at a job that I am, desperately needed. So be it. It could still happen. I have made my peace. I have decided if I get it and I die from it, I'm okay with that. I don't want to die early. I don't want to die at 30 years old. But I'm okay if it happens, because I know where I'm headed, and I don't care about anything else. But anyway, that's my personal story. That's what I wanted to share with all of you. And I hope that you take this video into consideration. And just stay healthy, guys. I'll talk to you guys soon.